The deterministic based targets always perform better than a probabilistic based target, and that is the value of having an identifier that you know is real.
This is Evan Shapiro, your media cartographer. Welcome back to Big Data Brains. I'm here with Dan Rosenfeld of DirecTV. You are the head of data analytics and insights at DirecTV.
Guilty as charged.
And so what does that mean? What the fuck do you do?
So basically, at DirecTV, we consider TV to be TV. That idea is the viewer really, what they really care about is great content, and watching that content conveniently and efficiently. And for the advertiser, they want to connect with that viewer in a convenient and efficient way as well. And what my team does is we data enable campaigns so to drive the outcomes that our advertising partners are looking for. So that's kind of like the high level basics.
But you touched on two ends of that. The advertising part of it is one part, but the user experience is something that you guys at DirecTV, you people at DirecTV, focus on, you obsess over. It's a really good product. I think not everybody understands that you're almost entirely digital at this point. And the platform is very intuitive for the user to navigate and find content and discovery.
Yeah, ultimately there is a place for cable television and live TV viewing and sports and news and also surfing, but we are very aware that the world has changed the past 10 years and viewers want AVOD, SVOD, and the user interface and the investments that have been made in the platform have been such where it's easier to find the content that you want, find the content that is interesting to you. And, we're not looking to have you spend, 10 minutes on the homepage trying to figure something out. We want you into your content that you can enjoy as fast as humanly possible.
On the flip side of that, all this use data provides you a way more deterministic stack of audience building and outcome chasing for your advertising partners as well.
Totally true. So, when you have a direct relationship with the customer and you are not relying on weaker signals like cookies or IP addresses, you can deliver audiences that you really purport to have. I have this audience and I can actually really deliver it, and I know that it's qualified and that it's not going to be probabilistic or based off of some type of modeling where the characteristics aren't really great. You get what you get, and you're really happy about it, and we know it's validated.
Yeah, I think there's talked about, this is big data brains, right? So we've been talking with folks about data all day long, but first-party data is one of these, I think, overused or misunderstood phrases, right? So first-party data is email addresses in many cases. But how many email addresses do we each have? How many have we created just to sign up for one thing? How many email addresses do we have that we no longer use? So first-party data doesn't mean quality very often. Sometimes it just means a data set that somebody's selling.
Well, that's true. Ultimately, you want the most performative identity. And when you have a direct relationship with a customer, generally associated with a billing relationship.
Right, so in this case, that means a home address and a credit card and an email address and a phone number very often.
Yes, but also the email address, because a lot of our industry now is tied to HEMS.
Right, hashed email
addresses. Our customers need to make sure that their billing relationship is good. But while we're talking about billing relationships, I need to say
it's privatized. It's all data protected. Yes, absolutely.
And it's consented. It's privacy compliant, but it's also customer friendly. Numero uno is make sure the customer is taken care of and doesn't feel gross or icky. We want to make sure that our customers know that the service is number one, and we're going to give you an amazing advertising experiences. So like, get on board and give us consent. But if you don't want to give us consent, totally cool, because ultimately we want you, the customer, the viewer, the person who's paying this bill every month, to have a great experience.
But at the end of the day, you have all of this data that you then anonymize, you put into a clean room and into a data lake that can be matched with an advertiser's first-party data or other first-party or third-party data to create a better target audience and then create better contextual advertising. But we're talking about a much more deterministic pool of data, and therefore the audiences you're building are more targeted, not just by geographic but also by buyer type, and then the outcomes are more measurable.
Yes, more measurable and more performative, because we can take targets that are based off completely our deterministic identities, but we also get a lot of probabilistic targets that advertisers have fallen in love with. And guess what? We want to be great partners. We'll run a probabilistic target for you. And we can actually, do very simple A/B testing in terms of performance of outcomes. And guess what? 99 out of 100 times, it's the deterministic data. I think I should have gone with 100 out of 100. I think it's 100 out of 100. But the deterministic based targets always perform better than a probabilistic based target, and that is the value of having an identifier that is real.
And so you spend, is it fair to say that you spend a decent amount of your time working with partners like agencies and brand partners to build these campaigns and measure the outcomes? And
that's every day we're building campaigns, we're using our IDs and our differentiated data sets to add value to their own first-party data. A lot of the times agencies and other advertisers have invested significantly in their own data infrastructures and their own MarTech infrastructures, and they're asking DirecTV, hey, can you plug into us? And that's really DirecTV Advantage, which is our data suite. That is the practice that really works on plugging in to the ecosystem and infrastructure wherever and however, assuming and requiring, what I'm going to say, data security, privacy compliance, and customer friendliness.
But now your reach actually extends beyond the television set too, because you're actually doing digital outdoor across the United States, and you have airline access as well.
Oh yeah.
And so the data stack actually reaches out and tackles this out of home aspect as well. And actually, DirecTV's had a long history of out of home advertising in bars and things like that. But that's now part of the offering as well.
Absolutely, we do outcome based measurements for DirecTV Remote in the air. So we have a really, really great captive audience in the air that you can reach.
Can't leave the movie theater there.
No, you cannot. And we can provide attribution and outcomes and really show how performative it is. And the results are actually extraordinary in what we're seeing in the air. And hotels,
hotels too.
Hotels, what I love about hotels is
the room service.
The room service. I love a great Four Seasons. You name it. But it completes our ability to connect with a consumer in the home while they're on the go, traveling. Hotels, airlines, and connecting it all together and kind of unifying, and delivering a desired audience in multiple different kind of places.
The whole consumer to a certain extent.
Yeah, and that represents value if you want to get a message delivered not 100 times while you're watching a single show, but like in different environments, and there's like a wealth of evidence that penetrates.
That's a really good point, because it isn't just about the reach to the audience too. It's also making sure that the messaging is contextual and isn't over frequencing.
Yeah.
That is a big problem, and that's again how that deterministic data helps predict that you're going to reach the right audience at the right time and not too much.
Yeah.
Or we talked about variability on creative and how creative drives a lot of the outcomes here.
Yeah.
Not serving the same creative. You look at somebody like a Progressive Insurance or Liberty Mutual, they have multiple creatives.
Oh, yeah.
This helps predict that you're going to get different creative in front of different audiences at different times.
Yeah, and let me just give a shout out to DirecTV Access, which is our technology platform. Like, we are really good at getting that right.
Yeah.
And
that matters a lot.
And not nauseating our customer with repeated ads.
You'll watch a streaming platform, you'll see the same ad over, and
I
by
don't
the
know
end,
why
you hate the brand.
I don't know why they haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah, well, part of it is the data stack. I think that is, they can't see it.
Yeah.
It's almost to a certain extent flying blind.
That is true. You pinpointed it.
So you have a tremendous amount of access to data, right? Consumer behavior data, advertising-based data, anonymized and privatized.
Thank you.
But that enables. I have found that access to that kind of data helps you predict, helps you show trajectories. What do you see in the year ahead that you think we should be tracking?
So I think contextual advertising, is going to continue to be a bigger and bigger thing, just because of the regulatory environment and all the states that are bringing on more and more privacy regulations. And I don't know if contextual is getting all of the love it deserves.
No, programmatic gets a lot of attention, but contextual is almost more important to a certain extent, because that's speed. This is context.
Exactly, but it's nobody, not nobody. I don't think the industry is thinking enough about the value of context. When you have, say, a viewership data set where you have viewers who are watching tons of home improvement programming, they are voting with the time they have spent with that home improvement programming, saying, I am into home improvement, and maybe some home improvement stores would think that that is a great target audience. And there are so many genres. It's arguably, like one of the best, interest-based data sets out there. It's passive, and you are saying, I have a passion for this.
And you think that's underappreciated in the industry?
I think it's really underappreciated, because the conversation around context generally starts with privacy, regulatory, and not about the value it brings for an advertiser to reach someone who's going to care about something. And so there's a lot of passion-based advertising. Brands want to associate themselves with some type of activity or sport, and you can connect with those people who are passionate about things through contextual, through a viewership data set.
So you think this time next year we'll be talking more about that?
I think it's going to be mostly an AI conversation,
right?
But
does AI help with the contextual to a certain extent? I mean, you can actually predict mood based on certain moments in the show.
I think AI is going to improve everything, including contextual, and I think you're going to have a lot more intersection of different context and content that is proving performative. So, for example, the combination of, I don't know if there are any taxidermy shows, but like a taxidermy show and lifestyle programming, not like a natural fit intuitively, but now with AI being able to run so many variables at once, you can identify complementary content genres that may drive performance in ways that we haven't considered.
And at a speed that we can't normally do as well. I also agree. I think contextual is under speed and the processing power has been really the focus. AI part of that, but programmatic being the kind of becomes the strategy, as opposed to let's buy around a psychographic audience who likes a certain taxidermy, true crime, sport. Whatever it is, and frankly, with a fragmented content world, the more niche you go, the higher passion.
Yes. Yes.
So if you're in contextually placing advertising inside a program that has a very passionate niche, you're going to land that much harder.
Right, and that also jives with the explosion in the number of creatives. When you got multiple contexts and multiple creatives, and you have a system to like conceptualize it and not having your brain explode because it's automated and done by AI, you can have a really, really amazing marketing platform to reach and connect with lots of different people in lots of different ways. And at DirecTV, that's what we're working on.
You just talked about how good you guys are at placing the right ad at the right place at
exactly.
the right time.
And so that's what we're working on the data side to enable that. And on the technology side to enable that, and also we are working towards enabling that for the future as AI becomes integrated into every single workflow, and then also replaces all the workflows. I didn't say that.
Thanks so much. This is a great conversation.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun.
Good to hang out with you, man.
Thank you, man.
This is Evan Shapiro for Big Data Brains. We'll see you next time.